We all know what a great singer sounds like. What if we got that wrong? You think about someone singing a really high note, sick run, or even like a crazy belt. We know like those are all moments that will get people off their feet. Uh, you can clip them and they'll go very far on social media very, very quickly. And rightfully so, it deserves a celebration. And I know like even during a performance, a really great vocal moment really feels physical and really, 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 really undeniable. But I'm sitting here thinking, what if we've narrowed the definition of greatness to only those huge moments or those moments that really erupt? I know I've been in conversations, been around conversation, I've made certain arguments about what those greatest moments or great singers are. But when it's all said and done, I start to think about who we leave out of these conversations. And to be honest, some of the best or most powerful singers don't always have those big moments. They're more quiet and they draw you in. Maxwell doesn't often do too much on a song. He doesn't overwhelm it. He really gives it space to breathe. And it's that restraint that feels very deliberate. Like very early on, he decided that he really didn't have anything to prove. And he paints that full picture for you within those boundaries. Billie Eilish really builds an entire soundscape and world inside of like a small box. Her voice isn't the loudest in the room, but it pulls you in closer. And it's really that closeness that truly is the point. And to be honest, none of these artists really lack any ability. They're just being very intentional and making intentional choices. But that's where this starts to kind of change and shift. We really live in a time where clipping is pretty much everything. Anything that stops people from scrolling and demand a reaction, that's really the currency, right? And it spins very easily. But those quieter moments, that subtlety, it doesn't. A restrained or more quiet performance really asks someone, the watcher, the listener, to be present, to stay and listen past the first couple of seconds. And in a culture that is really optimized for immediacy, that's a huge, huge, huge ask. But to be honest, living for the big moment isn't something that's really new. We've always loved that huge moment, the big finish. But what's different now is the scale of all of this. And with that, our standards quietly start to shift. We start to equate skill with range, emotion with intensity. And to be honest, anything that doesn't announce itself very loudly feels very, very small. And I can't talk about this without even mentioning how some male singers are left out of the conversation. But that's a little bit of a different topic for a different time. To me, it's the idea that more isn't always better, that restraint isn't the lack of skill, that it's actually a bit more discipline and intention. And if the most powerful thing a voice can do is make you feel, are we sure we've been listening to the right moments?